Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Tonight, President Obama turns 100 days old. Oh, goody. We're going to have a celebration. Instead of dwelling on the past 100 days, I want to look ahead. What's coming? The economy, healthcare, the environment, your life and your rights. If you believe this country is great, but the government has no faith in you, the individual, it is time for them to hear your voice. Come on, follow me. These are the stories that the mainstream media is covering. First, the first case of the swine flu. Patient 0 has been identified in Mexico. 5-year-old Edgar lives in the small village of La Gloria. Now officials are trying to figure out how the illness spread from the boy across 4 continents. The Federal Reserve says the recession is easing and the economy is improving. Really? Chairman Ben Bernanke left key interest rate unchanged. Bernanke said, quote, "The economy has continued to contract, although the pace of the contraction appears to be somewhat slower. Doesn't matter. At some point, the contractions are going to force a little baby out. We're giving birth to something, and I don't think it's going to be a happy occasion." But maybe that's just me. And, of course, today is Obama's 100th day as President of the United States. Oh! Hoping for change. He has celebrated today in Missouri, saving a lot on that extra jet fuel. You know, he just didn't want to go all the way across the country, just to Missouri. He had a town hall meeting there, and tonight will be his 3rd primetime address, something that I know pleases the broadcast networks who, once again, have to preempt shows that you want to watch in favor of Obama highlighting his accomplishments. We did a little figuring here. I mean, these numbers aren't exactly right. We told you last night what we thought it cost Air Force One to have Air Force One fly up and scare the bejesus out of people in New York, and we were wrong about 100 grand. We were actually 100 grand under the real number. But the figuring we did, we figured the network's going to cost them about $20 million for that hour tonight. I know they love you. But here's the one thing that the first 100 days that you're not going to hear the president talk about. Almost all of his accomplishments have been done like this, with the red light going on. It's an emergency! It's an emergency! Quick, we need the emergency red lights, please. Can we get the emergency red lights? Thank you. This is an emergency. No time to think. Just head for the exits. Go! 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 Get out of here as quick as you can. It's the economy. Quick! It's an emergency! Now, he did inherit TARP from the Bush administration, but the man took that ball and ran with it. I mean, quick! Everybody into a lifeboat. Tim Geithner had to be confirmed. Quick, wait, he's the only one. We got to get Tim Geithner in there. Don't pay any attention to his taxes, people. It's an emergency. Plus, we had the $787 billion bill of 1,073 pages. Nobody read. Don't read it. It's an emergency. Quick. See the flashing light? Don't put it down. Ted Kennedy, put the book down. Put the stimulus package down. No need to read it. Just pass it. Had to be passed immediately, without time to read it at all, because an emergency. Then we had the housing emergency. Obama called for another $75 billion in government TARP money to save the housing sector. Crisis. Then the car emergency, using the same exact excuse that the Bush administration used. The big 3, too big to fail. So we handed over billions in financial aid. We have the banking emergency. That was continuing in the last 100 days. We're waiting for the results now of the stress test. The Obama budget sees a need for another $250 billion for the banks this year. Then the swine flu emergency. We suddenly forgot about all the important questions we had to ask Kathleen What's-Her-Face. She was confirmed yesterday as the new Health and Human Services Secretary. Why? I'm pretty sure this is an emergency. This, according to Chris Dodd, he said, quote, "We find ourselves in the midst of a global crisis. We have to confirm her. Quick, don't think, don't react, just go, 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 go." The problem is, when you're in an emergency, you move without any kind of thought. You move in this kind of light. But it's eventually, you got to turn up the lights again. You got to go back to the regular lights. And then you see what kind of mess you're left with. You see that action without thought results in unintended consequences. The AIG executives find angry mobs outside their homes. TARP money just disappears into thin air. The CEO of GM is fired by our president, and now he appears to be headhunting for the chief of Citigroup. Did anybody within the sound of my voice email me, please? I want to meet you. Anyone wake up the day after we bailed out the car companies and said, okay, now we own 89% of them. The taxpayers, the federal government, and the unions now own the majority of these companies. Did anybody go, oh, well, jeez, good, the government and the unions are in charge now? Oh, now GM's fixed. They're going to be turning out great cars any day now. No. The decisions were made in the light of an emergency. Turn the light off. Stop thinking clearly. We need to remove the emergency. Take a deep breath and see that emergencies are really only problems. Some of them are huge problems. Every president, every generation has had to face them. They always will. But when every problem is looked at as a crisis, oh my God, we will soon find that we are trading one set of problems for another. And those problems could have been avoided had we thought things through. Let me go crazy on you for a second. No, really, that part was sane. You remember this scene from Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Watch this. Okay. That's us. We're Indiana Jones. Oh my gosh! There's a big rock! Run! And he's running. And you're thinking this is the smart thing to do. Get out of the way of the rock. You notice there's space on each side of the rock. He can just jump over to the other side. He jumps. Okay, he's safe. Oh, thank goodness. Uh-oh, somebody with blow darts. What are you doing, man? We are running from the big boulder of a crisis and emergency and fear. We bailed these companies out. They were too big to fail. So now 5 years down the road, GM is pandering to the government and churning out cars that nobody wants, but they're very, very green. And the company still can't turn a profit. That's somebody right there in the jungle going, hey, Indiana, you're dead. Relax. Think. Move with some reason, and you be involved in the decisions. All right, we're going to look at the 100 days, and I want to start with the economy. What can we expect from the next 3.5 years or so? What about nationalization of GM and Chrysler and expanded ownership of U.S. banks? Walt Zimmerman, vice president of United ICAP. How are you, Walt?
Great. Good to be back.
You know it's an emergency.
Yes, I've heard.
Really bad banking emergency and everything else.
Yes. Is it better or worse or about the same? Have we made, in the 100 days, have we made it better, worse, or about the same?
Well, I think what the government is trying to do here is boost confidence. There may have been no substantial changes, but I think there's a better feeling, a higher consumer confidence for now, a temporary vacation until things turn down again.
So what you're saying is, you know Chernobyl?
Yes.
The town of Chernobyl?
Yes.
Do you know that's one spooky place? There's like nobody around. It's a ghost town.
Yes.
So they play like really happy music? It's kind of like that.
Well, you know, it's funny. Warren Buffett has said this whole thing is a financial Pearl Harbor. I think he's got an analogy wrong. This is a financial Chernobyl. The half-life of this problem is going to go on and on and on and on.
Exactly right.
And these stress tests...
It's not an event. It's not just one event.
No, it's an unfolding, continuing debacle, deflation of housing prices that's driving the unemployment.
Let me translate.
What he's saying here, folks, it's an emergency, just in case you didn't know.
Okay, so tell me about, because I don't see anybody talking on television or anything. I don't see anybody going, I don't think the car companies are going to make good cars if Barney Frank is in charge, along with the unions.
I think what they're deathly afraid of is another wave of unemployment to continue the deflationary spiral. So they're not thinking, is it a good idea to keep GM alive? They're thinking, well, how do we prevent another tidal wave of unemployment?
Okay.
So,
Well, let me look. You do for a living, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
You're an analytical guy. You just look at all the numbers, and you look for trends in the numbers, and you say, okay, this is what's coming.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So the stress test is
a joke.
Thank you for saying that.
It is the most stress-free stress test I've ever seen. First of all, they're asking them to test for unemployment levels that